I graduated college last year, and coming from a low-income background, that was understandably a pretty big deal. College for me represented a path for social mobility, a way to make sure that my parents' sacrifices to moving to America were worth it. And especially coming out of Yale, I experienced a lot of opportunity and privilege that I had never experienced before. Here are some of my reflections on attending and graduating from Yale as a low-income student and 1 year out. Living in the real world for a year now, I had the time to process through my time in college. But to understand my college experience, we need to go back, rewind the tape. I came from a public high school in Wisconsin, and no offense to Wisconsin's public education system, but it's no Exeter, you know what I'm saying? Because of this, I had an expectation that I would struggle academically, so I started to define winning as something else. As long as I've met lifelong friends and a future wife, college would be a success for me. It turns out that you'll probably not meet the love of your life in college. I'm sorry to break it to you. No matter how much I tried to define what winning meant to me, college really ate me up. And by ate me up, I mean had me in a headlock, choked me, then threw me to the ground, and then maybe a few slaps to make sure I wasn't okay. It's probably a little too morbid. Academically, I was no comparison for people who came from private schools or even really competitive public schools in places like California or New York. Socially, I was with a lot of people who came from privileged socioeconomic backgrounds. And I know colleges are always saying that everyone in, whatever school you go into belongs, but I feel like legacy myths should feel a little bit of imposter syndrome. Just a little bit. Not too much, actually maybe a lot, yeah. In essence, I just didn't feel completely comfortable. Like I just didn't feel like I belonged. I felt like I was acting like Jay from The Great Gatsby, faking to be someone else to fit in with society. But things got better. Maybe it's just regression to the mean, maybe it's just me adapting. But I started to see and experience the really good things of attending an Ivy League, the privilege that came with being at such a prestigious university. For example, money and opportunity. Like Yale would just throw money at you like it was nothing. Like, oh, you didn't get the fellowship you were looking for? Here's 4 racks to do research yourself. And as a low-income student, I was given a stipend every semester, which I was then able to use for my family situation, which felt really good to be able to give back to my family. In a way, I guess I was privileged being at this university and receiving all this money. Essentially, I was getting paid to go to college, which felt kind of unfair. But maybe that's just equity.
넌 취한 것 같아 자꾸만 웃음이 나 어린아이 장난 같아.
Being at Yale, I saw what my parents saw, that attending an Ivy League education would exponentially increase the chances that I move up on the socioeconomic ladder. The name Yale signifies security, class. It's the safety net that boosted the number of job interviews that I got, even when my GPA wasn't really the best. And it's the name that people immediately associate with a higher class, and they treat you differently because of it, whether that's good or not. One time a banker asked me where I went to school, and I remember that when I said my school's name, immediately their body language and their posture changed towards me. It was like they respected me more because of my education. That was my experience. The name Yale had value, and as a result, so did mine. Yeah, attending Yale University was a unique once-in-a-lifetime experience for me, and there was a lot of privilege that came with being a Yale student, and I'm really grateful that I had a chance to do that. And yet, I was constantly wrestling with identity. Questions like, did I belong here? Was I cut out to be in this elite space? While struggling to keep my head above water with classes and friends. if you're in the same boat as me, low income, going to an elite institution or whatever institution you go into, I just want to let you know that you're not alone. The struggles that you're facing, the problems that you're going through right now, the identity crisis, the imposter syndrome that you feel, you're not alone in that. You're not like the legacy admits, like they probably don't belong. But you do. You belong. And sometimes that's enough.